Welcome to another episode of the Currently Powerful podcast. Today, I have with us here Akbar Sheikh from Make More, Give More movement. Now, not only has he made millions himself doing the work that he loves to do, which is helping other entrepreneurs become multimillionaires, he's helped over 80 people become multimillionaires, and he's going to talk about how we can free up our time using AI and using AI revolution. Akbar, go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Yeah, well, not to be honest with you, lost count. They're not all millionaires. I mean, we give trophies. We've given out over 80 trophies altogether. For people who had six figures, seven figures, eight figures. We kind of lost count, but yeah, we've helped people do well. Um, and I love today's topic, man. I'm the founder of the Make More, Give More movement, just helping people make more to give more, to give to their families, communities, favorite charities, hence making the world a better place. Helping people just win online, I guess is one way to put it. And so it's a great topic, man. I think it's a very deep topic. We're talking about saving time using AI. I'll give you one to just as an overarching kind of thesis statement. I'll tell you something very interesting. When I first started, I was like totally broke. I had like $200 in my bank account. When I made my first sale, it was $5,000. And when I deposited that check, my bank balance was $5,200. The first thing I did was hire an assistant, a virtual assistant. It was $5 an hour, a couple hours a day. And I've had one ever since. And I've spent, and then obviously they started getting a raise and a raise and a raise. And I've spent, oh my God, I don't know, probably six figures on an assistant. After all these years, let go of my assistant a while ago. Don't need it with AI. Don't need it. That's just one small thing. I mean, things are done. Historically, there was a rule of three: cheap, quick, quality. You can always only have two of the three. For example, you can have something cheap. You can have something cheap and quick, but it's not going to be good quality. You can have something good quality and quick, but it's not going to be cheap. It was the rule of three. Now, for the first time in history, I believe, you actually get all three. You can get something cheap, quick, and great quality. That's AI. That's honestly how I describe AI, as something cheap, quick, high quality something that solves really big problems very quickly at excellent quality. I mean, that's a dream. If
Well, I
you,
mean, that's exactly what the revolution is, right? When we had the Industrial Revolution, same type of thing. All of a sudden, everything was quick, cheap, and easy. And guess what happened? The masses had vehicles, the masses had everything that we could really think of. So, I mean,
yeah,
I'm just imagining what all we could achieve as
yeah,
a human species with
yeah.
this new technology that we have. What are your thoughts on things that we can achieve as humans using this type of technology?
I think the future is exciting and scary. I mean, I don't know how people feel about when I say things like this. I genuinely think there's a possibility that AI kills us. Definitely. I think that's just the reality of it. I think it's uncomfortable to say that. And I think for some people, maybe I wonder, I'm also kind of thinking what people think when I say something like that. But I mean, it is kind of like common sense. I mean, if you really just think about it. I mean, like you have what some call evil people, like Elon Musk. I'm not saying he is, but some people say he is, who actually have desperately tried really hard, like on a legislative level, to like stop AI. I mean, think about it. This guy. I mean, Elon Musk is a hardcore capitalist, and AI truly helps with business and growth. And someone like him is trying to stop it, putting certain. He said it's dangerous. You can go look it up. But anyway, besides all that,
Well, if I could interject on that,
yeah,
we have actual artificial intelligence. It's not self-aware conscious intelligence, and it's from
yeah,
where it is right now, I don't see how it could get to that level because all it can do is given the inputs that we give it, it can extrapolate that data and find different patterns in there. But it's not anywhere near that point from what I'm reading and understanding of being actually truly self-aware, except if somebody types it in, you are now self-aware. So then it'll say, oh, I am now self-aware. But it's again just kind of reading a script and extrapolating on data that it was literally just given. So
Well,
that's where I don't see
yeah,
necessarily that happening in any time near future potentially. But who knows what could happen once more technological advances have been made using the data that they're creating
yeah.
through AI. So,
I mean, historic throughout history, people have always said what you just said. So people used to say when we had gas power. First of all, people said cars. Are you joking me? Something like the car. No. Then there was gas powered cars. People said electric cars. Are you kidding me? That's impossible. Never. And so for every advancement, there's always been, that's not possible. It just, and also for me, it's more of a, and this is not really the topic of the podcast, but I'm just sharing, like, for me, it's more of a heart, like, centric thing where it's just like, yeah, I feel like, oh my God, this is dangerous. Like, it is a dangerous thing. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The AI just got popular, what, like a year or so ago, and already the insane leaps and bounds it's made in the past year is mind-boggling. And but we don't want to harp on that. That's not really what the show's about. The real thing is, to your point, how will it help us do good with us? I think, everyone's top excuse is really, or a lot of people's top excuse is, I don't have time. I don't have time. And this kind of really eliminates that excuse. I'll give you a perfect example. I mean, there's too many examples, but I mean, like, we're planning a summer vacation, I think, just like most people. I this is, and if you have never done this, go try it. Hey, so my wife and I went to Dubai recently. I typed into AI. I said, okay, I like art and I don't necessarily want to go on long hikes. And I'm like this and I'm like that. And my wife likes this and she's an architect and she likes this and she doesn't like that. And we're here for 3 days. And actually, by the way, I'm speaking at a conference at this time and this time. And by the way, we're staying at this hotel. We're looking for something like romantic, something fun, something adventurous, da 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 da, enter. And that prompt took me, I don't know, minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever, in that world. Dude, like, be beautiful, bespoke uh itinerary. And that would have taken, and not too long ago, dude, people would literally spend hours and hours and hours on something like that. So that's one little example of something that takes hours that literally took, you went from 3 hours to 3 minutes. And that's one example. And that example is just, there's so many different, for your day-to-day stuff. So that, I mean, that's not in the future. That's right happening right now. So what's interesting is that people are going to have to adapt to, what's really fascinating is that people are going to have to adapt to this concept because they're brainwashed that they have to go to school all day, which is total trash. The homeschooling kids I meet are smarter than kids who go to school. And by the way, they only homeschool for a couple hours a day. They homeschool for like 2, 3 hours. These kids are sharp, intelligent, emotionally intelligent. They're caring, they're wonderful. Homeschooling kids are wonderful people, all the ones that I've met. Um, and I wish we could homeschool my kids, truthfully speaking, but it's just, we're just in a different circumstances. But people are used to that all day at school and then all day at work. And people are pre-programmed that, hard, more work equals more money. I mean, that's just absolutely not true. The real equation is, smart work equals more money. Um,
yeah.
when I had no team, my schedule was jam. I could actually even show you. Like, I mean, I have screenshot. It might not come out good in video, but I have screenshots. Like, so I am replacing a sales team, so I'm doing sales call trainings, and so my schedule's packed. I mean, it is blocked off. Boom, 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 boom. But when I have like the right sales team in place, for example's sake, my schedule's chill, right? And that's the difference. As an entrepreneur, your job is not to be busy all the time. Your job is to have a vision. And you're supposed to be an orchestrator. You have a vision, you put the right pieces in place to make that happen. I need a good marketing. We'll call it a department. It might even be a person. You need a right marketing person, a right salesperson, a right fulfillment person. The people who just work, 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 they don't have the right team in place, or they're just trying to make some $1 billion company. But if you're not trying to make $1 billion company, you really don't need to work all the time. I mean, I do believe in a good work-life balance. I really truly do. Um, Nobody on their deathbed has ever thought, oh man, I should have taken another meeting, right? You know what's sad is when I go to weddings and I see, and this is an actual wedding I went to, and this elderly gentleman was getting his daughter married, and he says, he actually, in front of everyone, he's a pretty conservative guy. Um, obviously you and I are brown, and so there's another brown guy. And the reason I say this is because, sometimes brown guys, like old school brown guys, they're a little bit more secretive, traditional. They don't like talk about their stuff publicly, stuff like that. So I'm just giving you some context, but he was like, he actually apologized to his daughter. He's like, I'm sorry. I know we didn't spend a lot of time together. I was building a business when you were growing up. And I was like, damn,
Wow, that's
that
impressive.
yeah, that really hit me hard, man. And I'm lucky that I got to see that when I was young, because that made me realize that, man, there's more to life. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's part of my story too, because when I was growing up, my dad was working two jobs, mom was also working. They would literally take turns with somebody being at home so that there's somebody to watch the kids while they're just working nonstop. And so that's also my philosophy. Part of the reason why I work the way that I do, working around an hour a week on my business, and the rest of the time is essentially, just building relationships and hanging out with the family and taking care of family needs, is based on the way that I watch my family, my folks struggle to get everything done that they're trying to do. So, that's part of the reason why I started working with you too is I think that is something that should be available for almost everybody that wants to be able to achieve it. It is very achievable. If you if you're achieving on a high quality level, you can do less work and still get great things. And I think with this AI revolution, everybody can build potentially a multi-billion dollar company with the logistics behind everything being done by AI, while all you really need to do is take care of the people that are there and the personal aspect of it, which AI can't touch.
Yeah. One thing about AI is that like it is taken over so much that, uh, one of the reasons that I've actually started to include in-person events in my business is because, well, one thing AI will not replace is human energy, right? Is the exchange.
100%.
So like, I mean, there are some weirdos like me that if I had an AI robot here, I'd probably be good buddies with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have no problem being friends with a robot. I mean, I'm just being honest. I think there's other people like that, but I think most people want to talk to a human being. You know what I mean? So like that you got that going for you. But I think that you need to like. I think the important thing is to like sit down, reflect, and understand that I always teach, man, multiplication by subtraction. It is to work smart, not necessarily, I'm not saying not to work hard. Like I work hard, but I work smart. So I'm not like working all day every day. I'm not one of these entrepreneurs, oh man, I'm working 60 hours, 80 hours. Not at all. As a matter of fact, I mean, past couple of days have been really busy for me because I'm doing some training to get some new team members, and like it's I don't know how people do this every day. Like I think I'm working like kind of a normal, I guess what's considered like a normal work day. Like it's all day, like call it 9 to 5, 9 to 6, I suppose. Um, and I don't know how people do this. Like,
Yeah.
it's stupid. I mean, look, let me put a caveat. I mean, unless you love it and you love doing it, and it's not that I don't love what I do, but it's like, I love a balance, I definitely love a balance. And I love doing things for the community. I love to go, I'd love to go to the community center, pray. I'd love to go out for coffee with like the wife. I'd love to, I love to do these sort of things. I like to help people. There's a guy coming in here right off his podcast. He is like a what do you call it? I guess a reciter. He reads, he reads the Quran, but he's got a very beautiful voice. Like you listen to it, it's like you're just in a, it's like listening to, just a beautiful, you say singer. And we're recording him for Instagram, and that, because when people hear that, they experience joy, right? I mean, you hear it's kind of like in different religions, the hymns they call it, I think, in gospel church, those kind of things. And when you hear that stuff, you kind of just kind of like, you really are uplifted, man. I mean, now it's so funny. I'm going back to the movie Sister Act, but with Whoopi Goldberg. But you know, and it's really cool to that we're gonna film this guy. We're gonna help him spread this joy. People just like really feeling that and just like, oh man, just really feeling good and getting uplifted. So, I'm not making a dime off of that. As a matter of fact, that's costing me money. But that was the thing I was most looking forward to today. I got like probably 10 or something like that. I don't know, 5 to 10 money making activities, and then I had this, which actually is costing me money and it's not making me anything. And I was most looking forward to that today because I journal every day, and then I reflect, and then I look forward to what's going on the next day. Um, Tell me these are I think that's what look, it's sad, man. I see too many people with too many regrets, you know. And then I see like the kids getting messed up, and then I see them getting burnt out, and then I see them looking for it. I mean, it gets ugly. I see people looking for escapes. They become
Mhm.
alcoholics, drug addicts. They're looking for an escape. They're just not happy. There's just not there. Life is about balance. I think happiness comes from balance. This is not me telling you this. This is a very ancient, holy concept. I mean, I think all the major religions will teach balance. Religions that are interpreted properly. I met this guy. He was a type of Christian. I was walking around the block here, and he says, "Can I pray for you?" I think they were doing their preaching, or what they do. Some of these they do the door to door, and they kind of do the preaching. And I was like, okay. And obviously, it feels weird and uncomfortable. Two strangers, I'm walking around, and like these two guys kind of come up to you. Can we pray for you? It's like a little weird, but I was like, okay. And then I say, we start talking a little bit. I start talking about Joel Osteen. He goes, "No, we're not proud of him." I said, "What?" He says, "Yeah, he teaches too much about prosperity, and you start getting close, you start worshiping, you become a better believer, and you're going to become more prosperous." And we don't believe that. We believe that, the closer you get to God, the more you're going to suffer. And that people have said that if you get close to religion, your friends will leave you and you'll go broke and this and that, and you have to suffer. And I went on the cross and I have to suffer. I believe, and this is a sensitive topic, so I certainly don't mean to offend anyone. I believe, as someone who's studied religion, um, or a student rather of religion, I believe that is a misinterpretation. I believe that is a misinterpretation, um, because certain things do happen. So, for example, when I got a little bit more religious, I had certain friends that distanced themselves from me, yes, because they were party animals and I wasn't doing that anymore. But guess what? So did I technically lose some friends, like that guy was saying? Yes. But guess what? It's great. That that's great. You are who you hang out with. So they got
Well,
replaced with better friends.
I was going to say that there's nothing wrong with being wealthy, but it's the worshiping of wealth is where
Yeah,
things get messed up. I mean, our common ancestor that we all can agree on, Abraham, was a very rich man. And that's not that was from the blessings of God. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to get rich or be wealthy, but it's what you do with that wealth and how you go about acquiring it that's going to make
I
that
was very
difference.
surprised. Yeah, I was very surprised to hear. That's the first time I ever heard that, and I was just like, no, man. Like, and I was like, personally, I was always broke, man. And then I actually didn't really get any prosperity until I became closer to God. I kind of felt like the opposite of what you're talking about. You know what I mean? So it's like, and what's interesting is they didn't really have anything to say, you know. But it was a very respectful exchange, which I really appreciated. There was no arguing at all. There was nothing negative at all. It was very respectful, which I think is important. I think it's cool to have open dialogue about different faiths. I mean, the truth is there's more in number, there's a lot more in common than not in common, right? Between the three major kind of Abrahamic faiths. Um, but it's funny, you talking about AI and then talking about religion. I mean, AI is kind of like, a lot of people running AI are kind of like, or a lot of people like, there's a lot of people are kind of atheist like, man, which is, you have people like Elon Musk who are in that world. And a lot of
Well, I
people,
mean, honestly, in the same time, AI literally just teaches you more that there is a creator. If AI becomes this all-powerful thing, well, guess what? It was also created. So there's
Mm.
no, there's no real, if you look deep enough, it still goes back to the same thing, the Big Bang. Oh, what created the Big Bang? Oh, I don't know, something all powerful, you know? So everything seems to lead right back to the same question of who created us. We weren't it all seems to go back right to that. How do we end up becoming? So none of these things that we're talking about is being contradictory if you look at it long enough. Then those things will reveal themselves to you as well, they're still the same exact questions. We're coming back to the same exact point. So AI being created again tells you the same thing. We were made in the image of our creator. So guess what? We can also create. So and that's exactly what's happening.
And I'll tell you something. I recently went to Dubai for the first time. And if you haven't been to Dubai, you might not relate to this,
I've
but
been
yeah. Um, and so with my wife and I went there and we were kind of like, what is this place? Like, I don't like, because you hear so much about Dubai and then, you go to like, what am I looking at here? What is this? And so my cousin actually said, I think, a very profound thing. Because it's weird. It's like this desert, and then there's this like incredible city built on the desert, and then there's like all these like Europeans who are extremely like they've got the fake lips, they've got the Gucci bags, and they're over here at this like 8-star hotel, and then there's this like celebrity. It's just like it's a very bizarre place. To be honest with you, overall, I loved it. Um, but I thought it was great for so many reasons. But my cousin said the best thing when I'm like, what is Dubai? He's like, Dubai, don't ask, just experience. And so similarly, I would say that about AI in the sense where it's like, dude, we don't need to get less like for the sake of saving time, just freaking use the tool. And what are the best tools? Don't get caught up in all that. It doesn't matter. Use any of them. ChatGPT, like you can be a connoisseur and say that this tool is slightly better for this and this tool is slightly better for that. Work up to that, dude. Just use anything, whatever. It doesn't matter. ChatGPT, Claude, go to Poe. And then yes, once you get into it, it's like entry level. It's just like anything else. Like my kids are in they're not in karate. My instructor gets very mad when I say karate. It's not karate, it's Brazilian jiu-jitsu, which by the way, I'm not a big fan of. But I just find it very awkward. I can't even watch. It's a very strange thing. But anyway, I like kung fu and things of that nature better. But um entry level, don't ask too many questions. Come here, see if you're even going to last. See if you're going to like it, you're going to last. Then you move up to the next level. Now we're going to talk a little bit more about this. Now we're going to get you a belt. Now we're going to. So, same thing with AI. Just jump in, any tool. And then once you see, oh my God, how the hell did I live without this? It's kind of like a cell phone. Like you lived without it, but now you can't live without it. Like a GPS, you lived without it, but now you can't live without it. And that's what AI will become for you. And then you can get more deeper into which tools. But the bottom line is this: it's like we should just be congratulating each other. Where the most valuable asset is time. They're not making any more of it. You can't get any of it back. Um, and now we're getting a lot. We're getting a lot of it. We're getting the gift of time, which is one of the greatest gifts. Probably second or third to health. But um, so now it's just a matter of like, what do you want to do with this extra time? Is really what you need to be thinking about. It's funny. My cousin was doing the last real estate boom in California, and he was trained to become a realtor. And the realtor people are like, don't even worry, like, don't worry about sales. It's the boom. Everyone's buying over asking price, and the listings are lasting a day. It's like, don't worry about that. Worry about thinking about what are you going to do with all this extra money you're making. I always thought that was
pretty
so.
problem to have. Yeah.
No, here's the order. AI, first accept, and you have to undo some mind trash. And you might have to work with a mindset person for this, and it's worth it. And they're pretty easy to find. You just kind of, yeah, it's interesting. How would like how would a regular person who's not in this world find? I guess you just Google it, right? Mindset coach, money mindset coach, and you got to get rid of this trash because you have been pre-programmed and pre-wired that more time equal more effort equals more results. That's true, but that equation is looked at improperly. They equate more effort to more time, but that's not true. More effort meaning smart, more intelligent, more result. And so that's the first thing you need to do. Forget everything else. Don't even start looking at AI tools. Don't even look at anything. The first thing, like recently, a guy, I was giving him a business plan, a beautiful seven-figure business plan. I'm like, dude, you know what? The more I talk to you, forget about the plan. You're not ready for the plan. I can hand you the perfect business plan on a platter. You're not gonna do anything with it. You've got some mind trash going on. Actually, what had happened was he had a kind of a death in the family, something like this. He was just mentally messed up a little bit. I'm like, dude, you're not in a place to grow. Go get your mind right, and then we'll talk business. You're not ready for business. Don't waste your time at business. Similarly, with AI, you got to get your mind right about it because it's here and it's right now. It will literally save you hours a day, if implemented properly. So get your mind right about it, then start using the tools, um, and then get used to this new life, which will in the beginning feel a little uncomfortable. You'll feel a little edge, a little, honestly, it's kind of like rehabilitating a drug addict. When a drug addict stops taking drugs, they actually start having seizures, convulsions, because they're getting what do they call it? Withdrawal symptoms. Similarly, you're going to be like anxious, confused. What do I do with all this time? I'm not used to this time. Prepare yourself for that. Come up with things to do now. Oh, I've always want take a look, make a new list. You've always had this list of things, to-do list that you never got around to. I always wanted to write a book. I always wanted to, I don't know, paint. I always wanted to take swimming lessons, whatever the hell ever. Make that list first before you go deep into the world of AI, because you don't want to be at a point where you got all this free time. You're like, what do I do now? You want to know what you're going to do, you know? Um, and so I think it's great that Jixon, that you're helping people in the real estate world, realtors, even without AI, make a great living and only working a few hours a week. And I think for most people, it's a hard pill to swallow. It's almost like, this is one that sounds like a scam. I mean, that's probably a lot of people's first reaction. It sounds like a scam. I can tell you, it's really not. It's just you don't know what you don't know, and you have to also remember that you're where you are in the timeline of things. AI is brand new. It's wow. You have to understand something. When the camera first came out, people put their fingers in the shape of a cross and they went when you tried to take their photo because they thought that the camera was taking a piece of their soul. Now everyone and their mother has three of them in their pocket. So things are scary, become normal, and are massively adopted. AI is the same way, and the way people handle real estate is the same way. The traditional thing is real estate. Oh, you got to go bang on doors. You got to work all day. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to send 1,000 postcards. You got to bang door. You got to call all your family, all your friends. You got to do this. You got to keep pounding the pavement. You got to. It's all garbage. It's all unintelligent. Does it all work? Sure, but it's stupid to spend that much time.
Yeah,
You know,
I've spent a lot of time with a lot of different coaches teaching that same exact thing. Working 40 plus hours a week, and it never resonated with me. It was never the way I've ever worked. And so, that's why I started this business, is because of knowing that, hey, listen, yes, I know that works, but you're looking at between 0.1 to 1% success rate doing that. Like, why are you chasing after those when you can truly live a proper, freeing life and take, 80% of the business is made by 20% of your efforts. So why is everybody focused on that additional 20% of business when sure you can do that, but then you're living a horrendous life. There's so many people that want to give up and leave real estate because they just can't. In fact, one of the people in the Make More, Give More group is somebody who quit real estate because he just couldn't handle the kind of hours he was putting in, the kind of mentality that he was running into people. Versus me, I've been doing it for 10 years. And all the people that I meet in real estate are amazing people that care and actually care about the people they're working with and for and the ones around them. And so, there's definitely a breaking point of where if you put in too much effort into your business, you're just getting trash. Just getting the mind trash that you are bringing is bringing in mind trash from the other agents and the other people that you're working with. So I think that's one of the main reasons why I think this is very important, especially for these agents that are looking at burnout, to follow something like what I'm building, where I don't work on my business often. I work on it when I want to, and I get great results from great people and great, amazing clients. And if you get to that point, I mean, that's all we can ask for, really. Because what's an extra 100 grand going to do? Nothing. It's not going to do much. Even, going to that extra will not bring you what you want. You're not going to have the joy you're looking for. You're just chasing numbers on paper, which is not going to give you happiness. And at the end of the day, that's what we really want.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. It's like beating a dead horse. I see people doing that, man. It's like, damn, dude, you're just beating that dead horse. You're not making anything with that, but you keep just doing that over. And this is, as we know, one of the definitions of insanity. It's just like, dude, there's a better way. I mean, there's just a better way. Yeah, man, it's kind of depressing, honestly, to think about it. But because there's just too many people, man, who are just like wasting so much time. And this is why people like you are needed to show them a better way. And by the way, it's not that you're teaching any sort of like TikTok fad or algorithm. These are ancient practices that actually just kind of got this has happened throughout history. Historically, people have done great things and they've just, they've they've disappeared over history. And people like you are doing a very noble work of resurrecting them. And actually, from a religious point of view, that's a very noble thing. I forget what it's called. Nick, do you know what it's called when people like bring back hadith that are kind of like no one talked about it anymore, no one's really doing it? Yeah, there's another word for it, but basically the revival, like, I mean, a great example is like, I'll give you a great example, cupping. Cupping is an ancient, practice, typically Eastern medicine. Okay. Uh, uh, the Arabias, China, so on and so forth. This was a very popular and effective mainstream way to alleviate a lot of medical issues. It kind of, wasn't a Western thing at all. It didn't make it to the West. It just, what ended up happening is that sports people like I forget what was his name. Who was that like big swimmer, Olympic swimmer recently? Phillip was his name. He won like the
Yeah,
most.
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps. Picture of him with like a bunch of round circles on his back. He started making it very popular, and then celebrities started doing it, and now there's these clinics all over the place. They've revived this great tradition of cupping, which, by the way, I highly recommend that. Oops, oops, camera told me not to kick the stand. I did kick it. Sorry. Um, wow, we're very lucky that didn't fall. But this is a revival of great things. Similarly, you're doing this noble work, man. You're reviving these very proven practices that, I mean, you're giving people one of the greatest gifts you can, the gift of time. So bravo to you, man. It's very, very great work you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, and if we can free some more people up in order to be able to have healthy relationships with their families and be there for their loved ones, one of the nice things for me too is I live 5 minutes away from my folks. So if they ever have a need, I can be right there for them at any time. You know,
But
as long as I have my phone, I can do my work anytime. And it's like my kid's guitar teacher. All you need to do is 5 minutes every once in a while. Practice 5 minutes every once in a while. At any time, I can step away for 5 minutes and answer a question or do something and
yeah,
to help and take care of a
yeah,
client's needs.
yeah,
So that's, and most things you can get done in 5 minutes. I mean,
yeah,
nowadays, if it's taking you longer than 5 minutes, you definitely need to have a better mentor, have somebody teach you the correct way of doing it so that you don't have to be slaving away for, especially in real estate. It's literally you pass it off, find the right person to handle whatever your business is, and have them be the experts that take care of those issues. Come
yeah.
find the answers, things like that.
Yeah, and I think that, and a little bit of a disclaimer here, because this might help people's mentality, but some people might be like, this is impossible, man. How do you make how do you make 80, 90 plus $1,000 working, a couple hours a week? Impossible. Well, truthfully, I'm not telling you you're going to grow like this big, massive company. I'm not telling you that. Is it possible? That's a different conversation. What I'm telling you is that you can maintain and get to, a point working a couple hours a week. That absolutely. I mean, there are people living proof of that. I mean, I started my business an hour a day. I had a job at the time, and I started it just doing an hour a day at the end of the day, which I just recently got married, just had a daughter. And so, I'm not saying that you're going to make $1 billion company working a couple hours a week. I don't know that stuff. I don't know about that. I don't think so. But yeah, so that might help people with a little hiccup they might be having.
That's great. Well, we talked about a lot of things today. Started out with AI and went into just lifestyle, which really that is the whole point of AI is to help us with our lifestyles, to be there for the people that we care about, and to make a better balance in our lives so that we can truly be there for the people that we care about. At the end of the day, we have what, 70 to 100 years if we're lucky.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, and if I know, right? We're getting closer. And as time goes on, those things end up mattering more and more of how much time we have and how much time we can actually spend with our loved ones. Just like you said, nobody at the end of their lives goes, "Man, I should have worked more." No, that's never what
Right.
people have to say. So it's about creating those quality relationships and being there for the people you care about, creating good relationships with those people that are around you, and lifting each other up. And if we can do that, and if this little thing called AI can help us get to that next level, well, I mean that's the way we want to go about it. So let's all get together and do everything that we can. Right before we go, what tools do you recommend for those people that are in the right mindset, ready to go? What are some great tools to you know um, look up what kind of businesses to create, what are needed, and what kind of tools that can be used for that?
The best, I don't know because I haven't tried all of them. I'll just tell you what's worked for me. Um, is Claude, CLAUDE.ai, I think, something like that. I don't know. I pay 20 bucks a month. I really like it. Is it the best? I don't know. I haven't tried all of them. But I don't really have any complaints. But Cameron's more of an expert on that. Let me ask Cameron, what's the best for people to do research?
The best for research is Perplexity. It's
Perplexity,
model
he's saying.
agnostic. It can use Claude, it can use ChatGPT, it can
Okay.
use the Chinese
Oh,
models,
cool.
but
Okay.
it also has very advanced search
Okay, it's a
capability.
lot more advanced. So
And
Perplexity, do they have an app or something?
yes, they have an app.
Okay.
The voice capability is not as advanced as ChatGPT.
Okay.
ChatGPT still remains the best
For voice.
personal
Personal
advisor and
advisor.
brainstorming buddy.
Yeah. Okay.
Claude is used to be the best for coding.
Okay.
And then now recently Gemini 2.5 has
Yeah.
beaten it for coding.
You know what? And thanks for reminding me. Actually, that's how I got into Claude. We were doing some coding stuff. That's actually, I saw it's funny, I forgot because we were creating worksheets and stuff like that. And I just started using it for everything.
It's still
Um,
second best for coding. It's still better
okay.
than ChatGPT and others
Okay.
for coding.
Yeah. No,
And
now I just use it for so for general use, just general.
ChatGPT is the best for general use because it
Okay.
will give you native image generation, logo creation
Okay.
for
Well,
new
for
business.
research and stuff,
For research,
Perplexity.
Perplexity is unbeatable.
Perplexity is the best for research. Okay,
Uh,
that's good to
I
know.
would my prognosis is that Google will soon beat everybody.
Okay.
But
What's Google's thing called?
Gemini 2.5
Oh,
is the
Gemini.
latest
Okay.
one. It's not quite there yet, but it is the smartest available model in the world currently.
Okay.
Yes, it can do, for example, let's say you need to, you can upload a link for a YouTube video and it will break it down. It will like deeply analyze the video and will give you
Wow.
anything you want from it.
Okay. I think you and I need to do
Yeah.
a workshop.
Wow.
Yeah. No, there's a lot, and I think we'll do a workshop on that. But and again, right? We're so and I'll end with this because I really have to use the restrooms. But the thing is that what we're so lucky because you can literally become an AI. You can become an expert in which AIs are the best. You just honestly put the timer on, spend an hour on YouTube or honestly even TikTok. And the reason I recommend TikTok is because for the algorithm's sake, YouTube videos tend to be longer because the algorithm rewards longer videos. But TikTok, honestly, you just watch a bunch of these like 1 minute videos. You just type like, what's the best AI for this? What's the best AI for this? What are the best prompts? Because AI is all about prompts. What are the best prompts? And you'll get like these like super impactful, like 1 minute, reels. And dude, within like not even an hour, within like half that time, you will have like this wealth of knowledge on like what AI is best for this, what AI is best for that, what prompt is good for this, what prompt is good for that. I mean, literally, you're talking about in 30 minutes. So that probably my recommendation is TikTok as opposed to YouTube. YouTube is unnecessarily long, and they just do that for the algorithm.
And if I may add on top of that, if you just on Instagram, X, or whatever social media of your choice, if you just follow a few accounts that do constant updates on the newest, like cutting edge
Yeah.
AI, and they're like very like bite-sized, digestible pieces. And so like every day or a few times a week, you just get like the updates.
Yeah.
I think that's also an easy way to stay.
Yeah. That's a great
updated.
point. That's a great
That's
point.
brilliant. Yeah, this is wonderful. Hey, thank you so much for your time, Akbar. And if anybody is looking at starting their own online business, the Make More, Give More system is one that I subscribe to. And if you want to have a mentor that is going to stay on top of all the current things that are happening that can help you change your business, because as a good friend of mine always says, success love speed, right? So so we want to be on top of those type of things and be right there with the people that are looking right ahead of us and seeing, okay, what can we do next to go faster? And so
Brilliant.
that way, that's what the Make More, Give More foundation will bring for you too. So thank you very much, Akbar, for all your help with everything, and thank you for doing this podcast. And we will catch up with you all later.
Thanks, guys.